Hi, I'm Tom Rude. I think the main reason I was asked to talk about risk was based on my service in the Army. As far as facing risk, there's obviously lots of stories over 20 years in different situations. The one that's a little easier to talk about is when I was serving in Iraq. I was there all of 2005 and then again in 2007, 2008. And when I thought about risk, I was thinking about how that relates to the armor of God in facing risk and how we suit up. So I brought a few props. You know, when we get ready to face risk, we have things that we put in place to try to reduce that risk. So, you know, we have, you know, I flew helicopters, and so we have helmets, you know, to wear to protect our heads and to be able to hear well, and mounts to put night vision goggles on so we can see at night. We have protective gloves and flight suits that are made out of Nomex in case of flash fires. We have checklists and knee boards that we strap to our legs in the cockpit for emergency procedures and to take notes, and dog tags that have our religion on them and our blood type. We write our blood type on our boots just to, again, try to prepare and reduce risks, that when we face those challenges, we're as prepared as we possibly can be. One situation that I found myself in one night, 2 o'clock in the morning, flying two Apaches, and our two Apaches helicopters needed to land real quickly, get some more ammunition and fuel on the helicopters, and then get back up in the air real quick to help provide support for the soldiers on the ground. And the minute I took off, and when there was no storm, there was no nothing, in the 10 minutes that it took me to land and get back up in the air, about 100 feet off the ground, a massive sandstorm had rolled across the desert. And so immediately after I take off, and then another helicopter takes off before I could tell them not to, we are now in this massive sandstorm. And we can't see each other, and so we're doing these emergency breakup procedures to try to make sure we don't bump into each other. And then we're trying to figure out, okay, how do we get out of it? And so we followed the direction of the wind, and we were flying. We were trying to talk to each other to make sure we know where each other is in this middle of the sandstorm. And we can't see each other. All we can do is talk to each other. And so we turn east from our little base near Samara, and it took us, 25, 30 minutes before we both just kind of popped out of this wall of sand. Throughout that whole time, you know, I'm thinking about all this gear that I have, and just, it's not helping me whatsoever. And so I'm in the middle of, you know, through this 30 minutes of darkness, and I'm rotating between trying to solve the problem to get back to someplace safe, and saying prayers, and then solving the problem and saying prayers, and asking God for a little bit of help at that time. And you know, we finally get out. We can see at 2 o'clock in the morning this massive wall just rolling across the desert, and then we eventually head north, just kind of skirt this wall, get back home, and call it a night. You know, as I've had time to think back and react, you know, and think about it, you know, we're all going to face risk. Even with all the things that we can do and all the things that we have in life and all the protective gear, there's still risk. And so one of the things that I was given right before I deployed was this little Bible, and it was kind of nice because it fit right inside of my survival vest, and I could carry it with me. And so this was God with me, both physically with a hard cover and in my faith. You know, we have all of these, in my situation facing risk, we had all these, this armor, this physical armor. You know, the most important thing in that situation was having God with me, suiting up and having that armor of God underneath all of this protective gear, you know, relying on Him to help get me through whatever risk I may face. I'm Tom Rude, and this is my story.